Mueve la cadera, mueve la cintura, ponle condimento, ponle sabrosura. Mueve la cadera, mueve la cintura, ponle condimento, ponle sabrosura. Te estoy mirando a la cara, te encuentro alegre en los ojos de darte una serenata, mamita, mira mi antojo y dice: mueve la cadera, mueve la cintura, ponle condimento, ponle sabrosura. Mueve la cadera, mueve la cintura, ponle condimento, ponle sabrosura.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Ascent number, I have to think for a moment, number 11. We're on our way up the North Hill again today. It's an odd numbered ascent. And today I'm going to talk briefly about what in Davis we call individuation and the concept of self. Now, it's common knowledge that autistic individuals will develop in many ways differently from non-autistic individuals. Some of those differences may be assets. Some or many of those differences may hold that individual back from participating fully in life. And what we see from the vantage point of the Davis Autism Approach is something like a kind of a domino cascade of an individual's development, which has been arrested or stopped, if you like, metaphorically at some point, so that that individual has not continued along perhaps the typical development path that a human being would normally continue along, that will enable that person to participate fully in life as a human being in a physical world inhabited by themselves and other human beings. And one of the key reasons for this sort of atypical development and for the aspects of that development that can be blocking the person can be that the individual has not or has not completely individuated. What we mean by that is reaching a point at which you are stable in your experience, your perception of yourself as separate and distinct from everyone and everything around you. So Ron Davis, the creator of our methods, was profoundly autistic in early childhood and has no conscious memory of his life up till the age of 9. But what Ron talks about is a feeling of what it was like to be him before that age. And what he describes that feeling as the feeling of being everything and nothing at the same time. And there are quite moving accounts of Ron talking about how, in many ways, how beautiful and how wondrous that feeling was. That same perspective, however, that perspective of being everything and nothing at the same time, can block or interfere with certain aspects of learning. So one of the things that we do in a Davis Autism Approach program is to give the individual an orientation tool, which will enable that person gently to develop a stable vantage point, a stable self-perspective from which that individual is consistently observing, absorbing, experiencing the world from a kind of a consistent vantage point, giving therefore consistency and constancy to that person's perceptions and setting in motion the ability to learn from the world that we're in and from the new everyday experiences that we encounter. Most commonly, the way that we do this is through a little sound called the ting. And I have the ting on my phone. It's a high-pitched sound that was invented by Ron Davis. And what we do in a Davis program is we give an individual, or the individual purchases a copy of that sound. They install it on a device, and then they listen to it through headphones. I'm going to see if I can make this work. So I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm now hearing a kind of a high-pitched sound, metallic sound that's occurring every 8 seconds, just a little ding. Every 8 seconds, a ding. Was recorded in 3D, so it appears to be coming from a stable, a consistent location each time. And so what it's doing, it's like a little invitation every 8 seconds to the individual to come here, come here, come here. And the individual will listen regularly to that sound every day for typically around about a month, and we're then looking for subtle behaviour changes to occur that will then signal that the dominoes have started falling again, that the individuation phase is well underway, and that we can move the programme on to its next phase. Now, the the subtle behaviour changes and the whole process of individuation is something that you can learn more about either by attending a Davis Life Concepts for Autism workshop at one of our worldwide locations or by contacting a Davis Autism Approach facilitator in order to explore the possibility and start the process of a Davis Autism Approach programme for yourself or your loved one. I should mention also that for those individuals who are not tolerant to headphones owing to hypersensitivity sort of issues, we will shortly once again have an alternative called the NOIT device, which is a little device that sits behind the shoulder blades and conveys the sound, the same sound through the bone structure to the inner ear, so that the individual can achieve orientation without necessarily having to wear headphones, at least during the early phases of what's going on. The NOIT device is currently being redesigned and will be available, I understand, later this year in a sleek new design. So when the individual is ready, we can then move on to the final stage of individuation, which is to create and internalize a model of self. And the model of self is also something that we use in a Davis Attention Mastery Programme and in a Davis Maths Mastery Programme. It starts the process of what we call Davis Concept Mastery in all three types of programme, autism, attention focus and maths. And so what we do is we use the plasticine clay for that. And I brought some with me up the hill. And we take the plasticine clay and we gently roll it into a human figure. My way of making a human figure is to roll a cylinder. Okay, so we roll a cylinder of the approximate width and height that the human figure is going to be. And then I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to cut a slit down here, like this. And I'm going to cut another slit down here, like this. And if I now open that out, I can kind of manipulate it. And now we've got a torso. At the moment a headless figure, so we're going to need to make a spherical ball to go on top that will be the head. And then I can poke some eyes into it, mouth, little nose, and I'll put some ears onto it as well. So now we have a little clay human figure with perceptual organs, eyes, nose, mouth, ears, hands and so on. Which then we put through a process that we call self-mastery. You can read about self-mastery in Ronald Davis's book, The Gift of Learning, his second book, or you can attend a Davis Life Concepts for Autism workshop or contact a Davis Autism Approach facilitator. And once the self-mastery process is complete, then in an autism program that marks the end of the individuation phase, in all three types of program, autism, attention and mathematics, this little figure that's been empowered to represent the individual who made it will then be kind of an actor on the stage of each of what we call the concepts that then will figure in the next stage of the program, a stage which in the autism program we call identity development and about which we'll be talking about more on another occasion. And so now onwards and upwards.
Mueve la cadera, mueve la cintura, ponle condimento, ponle sabrosura. Mueve la cadera, mueve la cintura, ponle condimento, ponle sabrosura. Te estoy mirando a la cara.